Oh, I just realized I don't have the right plugin on for... I'm an idiot. Okay. Reference. There are two radio mods in Arma 3, TFAR and Acre. 90% of the time, I use TFAR. However, there's a few communities out there that use Acre. TFAR has an issue where if you're dead or you're spectating in a game or match or whatever, everyone that's dead can hear everyone in spectator. So Ilvanek, who is my liaison to the TBD event, and I also see him in OFCRA, or at least I used to. I don't think he does it anymore. Made me a custom plugin a little while ago that lets us hear everyone locally in the game, but it parses out everyone's chatter who dies.
Connected.
So I'm just getting back into the game now. Oh gosh, we're already in. Whoa. Oh, they started early. It's 3:18. They just started, too. God damn, that was quick. All right. I mean, good for us, right? Because that means we're going to be having some quick rounds today. Woo. All right, guys. How are you all doing? Wee Woo here. This is going to be another night of Friday Night Fights. It looks like it's going to be a quick one, too. I mean, look, they're within a kilometer of each other on start. That is great. Don, thank you for writing up the prediction for me. I appreciate it. But we've got 3 rounds tonight. I'll be solo shoutcasting. We got a lot of cool names on the multi, and if you want to come and join, make sure you run that FNF command. You can jump in and meet us in time for rounds 2 and 3. Otherwise, this mission today made by Puma. Background is after securing Bridge 96, the Reds have started their final push to capture the blue city of San Ontario. The Reds aim to destroy enemy supply caches in nearby Blue Base, Radio Tower, and the Industrial Zone. I missed the word "the" in there. Blues fight to prevent the Reds from getting a foothold in their city. Notes terrain modifications to make walkable water areas. Now, this is continuing that campaign we started last week where basically the operations are dynamically going back and forth. So I think this is the final operation for the Red side because I believe the... Actually, I don't think the Reds won the 3rd round, but I think they're doing this just to continue on the campaign. Because I remember correctly from last week, the 3rd round was a blue victory. But I could be wrong there. Honestly, I can't remember. But regardless of that, I think they're running this final mission, and then maybe they'll run the other final mission from the other side today, and then the 3rd will be free-for-all. It's also quite possible, because I know I did miss an FNF round maybe a week or 2 ago, that they're also using these as fill-in missions, just because they might not have had a bunch of missions ready this week. But otherwise, this is a 3-area destruction mission. We've got 3 ammo caches down. I believe... I'm just verifying that they're all ammo caches here. Yep, and Op 4 is trying to destroy all 3. Blue 4 is trying to defend at least 1. If Blue 4 is able to defend them for the 50-minute round, they win. If Op 4 is able to destroy all 3, then they win. Blue 4 needs to at least keep 1 alive. And, of course, standard FNF rules, if you entirely wipe your opponent, you win by default. Rounds are 15 minutes of safe start and then 50 minutes for the actual match. This is because... no one sees the mission unless you're the mission dev, one of the auditors, or, I mean, that's it, really. Everyone else just, gets to see it immediately when we start, so they get 15 minutes to hastily make a plan. Max render distance is 775 meters. Defender build points are 180, which is above the standard 125 we have down here in standard missions. And then no magnified optics nor NVG equipment. Medium anti-tank settings. Is there an echo on either side, which indicates there is Blue 4 doesn't have it. Op 4 does. So Op 4 is going to have 2 RPG rounds per person. So that includes the gunner, which is going to be Charlotte, and then Seismo and Huel are the assistants. So that's 2 extras. So that team has 6 rockets for the medium anti-tank weapon there. Otherwise, looking at kits, Blue 4 are going to be your generic military jungle camouflage kits. Loadout's going to be HK-416s or M4A1s. Glock secondaries for their... Glock secondaries for, how do I word that? Glock 17s for their secondary weapon, the handgun. Light machine gunners going to be the M249 and Alpha Bravo and Charlie. Medium machine gunners and Delta get the M240 Golf. Light anti-tank and Alpha Bravo and Charlie is going to be the M136. Crew and aviation get the choice of an MP7 and M4A1, and that's going to be important because Blue 4 does have some pretty interesting assets on them today. We got an LAV-25, which does have its autocannon. Looks like it only has 69 rounds. Nice for the main gun.
Hope you are having a good day.
1,200 rounds for the single magazine. They also got a 777 in play, which, again, as defense, usually you want to see these as an immediate counterattack weapon, and considering the AO here, that could be a really good choice. They've taken out its Mark 19, though. It's going to be instead an M240 coax, probably another 1,200 round belt, but it still has the main gun, which is 200 rounds of 50 cal, which is quite nice, and it has a magnified optic to work with, so it can also be treated as a mobile sniper rifle. And then you've got the 3 M2 statics here that are the standing variant, which is the M3AA designation. Those can be used for point defense, but they don't have a lot of ammo. Op 4, otherwise, their uniform is going to be generic woodland camouflage kits. Their loadouts are going to be modernized AK-74s, basically what you would see on Russian military kits. RPKs for the light machine gunners, PKPs for the medium machine gunners in Delta. Secondary for everyone's going to be the 443 Garage. Light anti-tank is going to be the reloadable RPG-7 and Alpha Bravo and Charlie, so a lot of AT on Op 4. Because they also have their Echo team. I'm going to check again. I don't see an Echo on Blue 4. And then Crew and Aviation get the choice of the PP-2000 submachine gun or the AKS. Otherwise, nothing on crew surge weapons for them. They got the 80 Alpha BTR, which has 74 rounds of AP, but they only have 983 rounds of 7.62 by 54. That's a bit of an interesting balance there. So it's got less coax ammo, but slightly more AP rounds. Otherwise, 10 transport Hiluxes, 1 standard BTR-80 with its full complement of 500 rounds of 14.5 millimeter with the KBVT heavy machine gun, and then, gosh, math, I think that's 1,500 rounds across 6 magazine boxes of 250 for their PKT-762 coax for suppression purposes. And then they have 2 Gaz Vodniks, which kind of suck, admittedly, because the infantry are static on the turret, so they're very easy to snipe with absolutely no cover. But it's got a decent chunk of ammo in there for. Otherwise, going over the roster here, we have Pierce commanding Blue 4. All right. Let's see some defensive Pierce plays. If you know, you know. If you don't, Pierce is what we call a wild card commander. He comes up with some of the craziest strategies we've ever seen. Most of them don't work out, but some of them are pretty funny, and they do work, crazy enough. Snajapera being his second-in-command, Nolich being his platoon medic. Stefan leading Bravo. There's no Alpha. That's funny. We only got Bravo lead here. That's Stefan. Cameron's going to be the marksman. Blue Force marksman rifle is going to be a Mark 14 with appears to be a Pitbull scope on there. That's an interesting choice. Otherwise, Pro Hunters leading Bravo 1 with Martin, Gogu, Slim, Aim at the Stars, Gene Cop, Phila, and RB. Bluck leading Charlie with Pogo _ Skipu taking Charlie 1 here with Kermit, Depso, Maddie, and Medin. We've got Charlie 2 being led by Tim Kappa with Ya Boy, Iced Coffee, Block ID, Legend, and Colton. Flux leading Delta with Schnuffles as his 2IC and Novix as the medic. Quick note, Pepega Pirates on Delta. For those of you that are new, Pepega Pirates is one of the 2 best communities in FNF, and I like to point them out along with Scandi Recon because they dominate the field at least 4 out of 5 times per match. So let's see. Armageddon and Korvac taking Delta 1 to 2 machine gunner roles. Zoni and SL Dream are going to be taking assistant roles. Pingus and Waj are going to be taking the other 2 machine gun roles in Delta 2, and Kazanka being an assistant there. Gamma 1, one of the vehicle crews is going to be Kabubi and Steve. The other vehicle crew is going to be Vagrant and Patriot. One's going to be taking the LAV-25, and the other is going to be taking the M1117. Force Commander is going to be Kiri with Alexander as his 2IC. Swola leading Alpha with Banks, Dingo, Major Khan, Shabby, and Tony. Alpha 1 has Wheaton and Ash, but it looks like they're forming everyone up to join Alpha Actual here just to keep the 2 groups instead of having a Bravo 1 and a Bravo 2 like we're about to see. Scrolling down a bit because I don't see a Bravo Actual. It's just 2 teams, so it's going to be Yanni leading Bravo 1, Scandi Recon here with Kat, Steve, Bar, Nemesis, and Malin. Bravo 2 has Puma leading as a machine gunner with Oliver, Daedalus, Nafs, Cullis, and Dobbs. Charlie being led by Norris with Harrington as the 2IC, Zapata as the marksman. Marksman rifle is going to be the SVD, which is a little inferior to the Mark 14 in my opinion, but that's regardless. Stutz being the medic. Charlie 1 seems to be just a 3-man group of Mr. Hybrid, Jerry, and Cooper. Charlie 2 seems to be Ruki leading Agnar, Snigel, Unigrim, Zevik, and Pedro. Delta being led by Rund with Dingo's playing tonight. Awesome. He was He was the head honcho. He still kind of is, but Malon's kind of taken over for him for all of FNF in the quote-unquote early branch, which is the name of the event we're covering right now. But it's Dingo leading Ilya, Tomner, and Omri. And then we've got Best of Our Swede, Arshun, Archeon. My English is horrible. And Oddball under Delta 2. Olaf leading Echo with Charlotte, Seismo, and Huel. Charlotte taking the medium anti-tank weapon, which is going to be an RPG-32. And then Seismo and Huel, as I said earlier, are the assistants. Gamma 1's going to be the BTR-80 Alpha. That's going to be a 3-man crew of Inara, Bates, and Gordon. And then Lolo and Sam are going to be taking the BTR-80. So overall, not a too tough round here. It's a pretty small AO. This will probably be done in like 15 or 20 minutes, to be perfectly honest, after the round officially begins. Not really a lot of room for Op4 to do any maneuvering. They could cross the river and then try to come around, but as soon as Blue 4 catches wind of that's what Op4 is doing, there's not really any good way for Op4 to get their foot in the door here, because Blue 4 just have to watch the coast. Yes, the two BTR-80s are amphibious, but they're very slow, and the AO doesn't really give them a lot of room to maneuver. They really don't want to be caught up here driving around like this. I can see where the mission maker was going for and giving them the idea, and I wouldn't put it past someone like Pierce to actually try to make that work, but he's playing defense, thankfully, so we won't really have to worry about that. Another strategy Op4 could do is they could immediately cut left and then try to get on this hill right here, and then have a bit of a height advantage attacking. That could also put a nice spot for their BTR-80 to do Overwatch coming in. Because just moving down the MSR is probably going to get them killed, and I doubt they're going to do that. But otherwise, they've got part of the town they can also work with. They can rush up, get into the block over here, and then they can move in on the side and then try to get in. So either way, quite a few different options. Blue 4, in all honesty, just need to send a force up here to control the hill, and that's going to help them lock down pretty much any way Op4 can go down on. If they don't want to immediately rush the 1117 up the MSR to get some early damage in, I think the 1117 with maybe a fire team or squad of infantry to go up on this hilltop would be a good call. Or, better yet, send the 1117 up the MSR to do some early game harassment, and then send the LAV-25 up here to lock down this area and send a squad up there with it. Or better yet, if they had the MAT team, they could also send the MAT team up there with it and just lock down this entire area, which would force Op4 to either just charge up this hill to try to take it, or really, that's the only option Op4 has at this point, unless they want to try to use the MSR here. So Op4 has been given a really tough AO to fight, but Blue 4 has to capitalize on this position. If they don't, it kind of evens the playing field for this entire area. Otherwise, let me give a few shout-outs here. First off, One Mean Bean. I appreciate the New York joke. It's funny seeing how, with Canada being on fire, a lot of the northern United States in that area has been seeing terrain similar, not terrain, but I guess air quality similar to when California has a wildfire. But I've been seeing some comparison pictures, and it's crazy how everything is. Even down in Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, you look outside and you can just tell there's something in the air that's just refracting light a little bit. So I always find that kind of interesting that it's reaching all the way down here. But they say winds that's going to come in on Sunday is going to help dissipate all of it. But, ooh, it is a mess up there. Otherwise, Rack and Echo, thanks for the 12-month resub. That gets you to Lance Corporal badge, buddy. Thank you so much for all your support. And AA Boss, thanks for the gift sub. It went to M for Sherman V2. And AA also resubbed as well for 5 months. We'll see if Red wins. It's going to be tough for Op4 to win this one, but hey, I'm hopeful. Otherwise, hope you all keep enjoying the operations, and I do hope you get a nice kick out of this PvP scenario. Why do some teams not have an actual team? Could be for a lot of reasons. Could be because the squad leader decided to merge everyone under the team. But basically how the designations go is Alpha Actual is meant to be like the commanding group for the other two groups, which would be under it Alpha 1 and Alpha 2. How FNF does it is they consider everything with a letter a quote-unquote platoon. So the platoon leader is Alpha Actual, which is the leadership element, a marksman, and then a medic, and then Alpha 1 and Alpha 2 are squads. I consider it's just two large fire teams with one squad. Neither is wrong, but, you know, it's just how things are seen on either eyes. But basically you just micro two squads under you as an actual leadership element. But when Numbers are a bit lower week to week. Sometimes they just merge things together. So that's generally how it works. Do any of the teams have UAVs or UGVs? No. You don't really see UAVs and UGVs on FNF. You do occasionally see them on OFCRA. However, from a commentator POV, they're an absolute pain in the ass to manage because they don't have symbolism on my map. They don't even have a triangle, which means I don't know where they are at any given point in the AO unless I randomly catch them flying. Which, for larger things like UGVs or UAVs or whatnot are great, but for small darter drones, there's no way in hell I know where that is. There's no way in hell I see where it goes. So that's why I'm not really for or against those, but we'll see how things go. Mission starting now, and right off the bat, we're seeing Blue 4 doing a massive infantry rush on the hill. They're going for an immediate lockdown of this AO. You've got Echo immediately going around, but Op4 trying to use a little bit of the MSR to springboard off into the jungles on the right. And where are Blue 4's vehicles? Completely misplayed in the back line. They should have been up and ready to go, but instead they're sending the 1117 off to the left to lock down the river. Not the worst call to make because it locks down an avenue of approach, but at the same time that really limits what the 1117 can do. Maybe we'll see it cross the river because it is amphibious. Maybe some harassment across the river, but again, that's a bit of a tough call to do, but we see it getting into the forest over here. And now the LAV-25 is going to be brought to this building. It can use this little silhouette right here to lock down the MSR. And the infantry are just desperately trying to go up here as we have Gamma vehicles coming up here, also providing a squad of infantry. So this is where the first fight's going to be. Oh, I love using the UAVs and UGVs too. It's fun as hell. Back in the day, Frontlines Fuel of War had a whole class designated to working with UAVs, and it was fun as hell, but streaming PvP commentary with them is a pain in the butt because we can't actively track them. Anyway, looking at the final numbers here, the thing's about to run out, though. Might not see the final... Ah, damn. Don, can you tell me what the final betting numbers were for either side? Look at this, though. This shows that Blue 4 doesn't think Op 4 is going to be able to get up here quick enough. Rund immediately blows Bluck away. Kermit taking fire from Oddball and Swede. That was a mistake. Come on, it was obvious to know that Op 4 was going to come up here because this is the only viable option for them to take. But now you got the BTR-80 flanking some open infantry on this side, though that BTR might immediately pull back on defensive because it doesn't have an infantry screen and it fears potential retaliation from AT. Skipoo gets knocked out. Smoke grenades going out. Op 4's got some really good development right here. And they are just knocking out a shit ton of Blue 4. Seismo tries to come up, knocks Colton to his feet. Blue 4's not in a good spot. They're not in any good solid cover here. They're just kind of caught in the open. You got the BTR-80 pushing up as well to provide some assistance. You got Blue 4 back here, but they're not in any supporting role to help the Blue 4 Charlie squad up here instead. BTR has come up a bit. It's watching left, but this is a really bad spot for it because if anyone has AT, they got a nice broad shot on it. It's a little too far out on its left. You've got heavy machine guns being heard firing. And you got the PKT firing through the smoke, and it gets a kill. Smoke is concealment, not cover, so 250 rounds of a PKT box firing in is still going to find you, unless you're prone and trying to roll away. But right now, Op4 just really dealing the first decisive blow here. And then you got Op4's other half. Look at this. You've got one group coming to the rear of this Blue 4 group that's trying to jump a majority of Op4's infantry. But they are just so well positioned that it is really hammering Blue 4's ability to attack this area. And there's so much Op4 right here that they're putting such a nasty base of fire right here. Blue 4 losing both of their initial engagements is really, really critical. Crow Hunter getting jumped by Alexander down here. Right off the bat, if Blue 4 loses like 50% of their infantry and Op 4 only about 10%, I think it's pretty obvious to see who's going to win this one here. I think Blue 4 did indeed fumble this hard. They should have just played static defense on the hill and on the objectives, because by fanning out, they have unluckily sent themselves into where Op4's 2 prawns of a pincer attack are. And I'm going to be honest, looking at the AO, this was the obvious one. This one a little more unorthodox, but when you consider they're going to be using the forest to get up to the enemy AO, this is the next best course of action. And I think Blue 4 was trying to send both forces out to see which one Op4 was going to choose, thinking they'd send all their forces out, and then maybe they'd be able to then send one of the 2 strike teams they sent to then get on the rear of the enemy force and harass them, but instead, they just sent 2 weakened forces against 2 strong pincers, one full of infantry and one with a smaller group of infantry, but with total vehicle support. And since Blue 4 has had to also divide their other assets into various positions to still play defense, they're just getting absolutely decimated here. You got the LAV now pulling back. It's trying to get on a position, might be able to spot the BTR-80 Alpha and snipe it because it is in the open. Maybe Blue 4 getting the enemy autocannon Vic out and then having their autocannon to snipe infantry with could bounce the AO back, but it's still a tough call. I will say Op4's Vics are inferior to Blue 4's because Blue 4's have proper ranging optics on the 1117 and the LAV-25, which is going to allow them to really win out on these longer range engagements, but Blue 4 has to commit the vehicles to at least start engaging in said long-range engagements. Now you see that Charlie 1 has pulled back with Delta, covering them to this area. You got machine gun fire coming down here. I think they're trying to aim at Kabubi Face, who's ranging for this LAV-25, but he's busy watching left because he wants to lock this zone down instead. I don't think he realizes that that BTR-80 Alpha is up there, but as soon as he tries to pull back and start shooting at this group, I can tell you that BTR is going to pull around and try to engage. But now you see that LAV starting to fire in. You got to remember, it only has about 900 rounds of ammunition, though, so it doesn't have a lot of room to suppress with that main gun. If anything, the 1117 would be a better call, but for whatever reason, the 1117 is deep in the jungle over here. I'd imagine it would be better if it actually went into the river at this point, tried to get in this open territory and went back and forth, and from here, it could easily lock down this side, but instead they're going to be playing it very fast and loose, getting right up to the enemy and be within a good 100 meters for an RPG to hit it. It's not a good plan. AT just came out, landed close by. That was AT up here trying to hit the LAV-25. Another round comes in. It's going to be short, though. LAV pulls into cover, hits the corner. Good call by that LAV to immediately pull back. It looks like they might actually rout this group and force them to pull back. That's a bit of a mistake, in my opinion, because there's no other good position for this LAV to be in. If they go left, they're going to get hit by these guys. They go right, they're going to get hit by the 80 Alpha up there. You got a guy turned out, he took marksman fire from over here. Blue 4 has been entirely annihilated in this area. And now it's just going to be a very nasty uphill battle for Blue 4. I still think they could win this if they lock down this area. There's the double tap on him, but they're already going to start smoke charging. This 1117 is going to get sniped because it's way too deep in the forest to really do anything. It's got a decent firing position from where it is, but it's very limited in what can engage it. Something could easily come around on the side and hit it with an RPG, and because it's deep in that jungle, it doesn't have a lot of room to maneuver to avoid said RPG, so it's already taken some fire, and it's already being forced to pull back before it can really do anything. Yeah, it got a few knockouts, and even a kill or two from the looks of things, but at this point, it needs to do a better job of locking things down. So it got 2 kills here, 2 knockouts. Those knockouts are going to be brought back up, and immediately Scandy Recon here on Op4 is going to be trying to push it under the guise of what appears to be Bravo. But here's the deal. There's not any other really good open areas for a vehicle to lock down this horde of infantry. Maybe if the LAV were to come out and start firing, we'd get some good shots, but the LAV's already pulled back as well. I just think Blue 4's major issue here has been not only have they sent in 2 picket forces, one got completely annihilated, one took up at least 50% casualties, was able to pull back. The vehicles have been really misused here, and I'm not sure if that's Pierce commanding them to do things or individual choices on the level of the vehicles themselves. I know the LAV pulling back, they did it because they took fire. They didn't really assess the situation of the fact that they were a bit safe if they went on the left side. I think they were worried, though, that Op4 might come up and potentially flank their position, so they immediately pulled back, and that's going to cost them because we still have this 80 Alpha up here, and as I said earlier, now it's in a really good Overwatch position to literally snipe anything that comes in here. Actually, we might see it snipe the 1117 as it comes into view. He does not. Okay. Hey, righto, Scratch. Welcome. Again, I can see what Blue 4 was thinking. It's just Op 4 had picked the perfect pincer maneuver plan to counter what Blue 4 was trying to do. Blue 4 was thinking Op 4 was going to push all their forces one direction, and Op 4 decided to do a pincer attack instead. And also, I want to point out, this is a very good pincer. You have Delta, which is the medium machine gun group, and Echo, which is the medium anti-tank, with 2 vehicles up on this hilltop to basically provide overwatch for the infantry that are going to come in. Now, based off of this angle, they're not really going to be at a good angle to directly support the infantry. Rather, they're just going to be in a different position to provide overlapping fire to Blue 4's defensive positions. So, if Blue 4 try to take cover from the main Op 4 push, Op 4's flanking force is going to be able to suppress and even annihilate them because they're in a perfect flanking position to engage. This has also forced Blue 4 to commit a good chunk of their infantry to try to stop this attack because they perceived it with enough of a threat that they think this is where this force is actually going to try to come in and get into the AO, but in reality, these guys are meant to stay up on the hill the entire game just to do that overwatch because they have the weaponry and the range to do so. This group of infantry's main job is to actually get into the AO and actually hit all these objectives. These two are undefended. They're going to have a really easy time doing it. Then they're going to get up to right here and go into this position as well. Now you got Charlie 2 coming into this fortified position to try to find Op 4's advance, but Op 4 is going to be using the low ground of the riverbed to move in. Very smart call there, but it's too little too late at this point. I mean, looking at the skull count, Alpha, they did take quite a few casualties from the Vic. We got some other ones in that previous firefight. Delta dying up here was the fighting up here. But look at Blue 4. They've lost an entire squad, and they have some straggler kills on some other groups as well, including Charlie's squad lead. Charlie thankfully has a 2IC to pick up that radio, though. So, numbers-wise, looking at that, definitely an Op 4's ballpark. They also started with an 8% numbers advantage, so they're going to be able to maintain that. And if Blue 4 isn't able to make a unified defensive line, you're just going to see this infantry bulldoze whatever's out here. One hope we do have is Papega Pirates within Delta. And I think that's why we're seeing a good chunk of kills up here. You're also hearing those 50 cal turrets. Nope, that's the PKT, my bad. Here's the 50 cal. So they're trying to mag dump the BTR, and they actually got a kill in the 80 Alpha, and they might have even disabled the gun because the gun's low right now. But you can see that this texture is slightly darker than the rest, indicating that it's taken damage. So the BTR 80 Alpha, we got the driver is wounded, the crewman is dead, and the gunner's still alive, but that gun is disabled. He's gonna have to get in the driver's seat and pull back, but with one of the 2 heavy vehicle assets taken out, that's gonna really limit what this Delta group can do, because I'm gonna be honest, they're fighting against one of the best communities here within Papega Pirates, which is why Delta has so many casualties in the first place. And if they're able to use those 50 cals to basically snipe out these BTRs, then this group's gonna get screwed because the 50 cals are gonna start turning on the infantry as well. This is round 1, yes. Now here's the interesting thing. Op 4 don't necessarily have to advance. The fact that they're pinning this infantry up here is enough because this group can easily go into the rest. But what is Blue 4 doing? They're sending what little they have remaining to counterattack, but they're actually doing quite effective. We just saw a lot of knockouts happen. A lot of blood here as well. Grenade knocking out Legend over there. So both sides traded grenades and got some knockouts. I don't think there were any actual kills, though. Not seeing any bodies. As I say that, Zevik gets knocked out. Pedro's firing up here. Was there a guy in that tower? No, he's shooting at ghosts. Poor Pedro, still haunted by the war. Tim Kappa trying to find a line here. I don't agree with this because this leaves them a lot of room to get enveloped. Luckily for them, though, I think Scandy's going to continue on and actually try to move on to the objective. Blue 4 still has a hope here, though, of if they can use Delta to eliminate this Overwatch team and then pull back and play defense on this objective as Scandy overcommits and tries to hit these two. There's still a chance of having the final fight right here. We're only 14 minutes in, though. But because of how dragged out this fight's going to be, I think we're actually going to see this not end until the 30 or 40 minute mark. Basically when this gets to the 20 or 10 minute mark up here. Legend's still knocked out by that grenade. Dingo is now trying to move up and flank. Could get a double tap on Legend if he realizes he's uncon. It looks like Blue 4 actually starting to pull back here, realizing that they're in a tough position here. Got Harrington that's pushed up here. These guys coming around, they're either going to hit this aerial from the northern flank or they're going to come over.
Yeah, they have it clear.
Dingo watching front here, the rear of this element, keeping this group pinned, but this group's going to be a pain. I think he had eyes on Tim Kappa there, who immediately got blasted as I think he knocked Agnar out. It's slowing down this Charlie element. Maybe Blue 4 Charlie, once they pull back and regroup, can then push back. You also have Command back here working with Op 4 Charlie. Bravo is the main worry for Blue 4, though. But, I mean, look up here. Look at how low Op 4 has been taken out here. They've only got a handful of guys now on a picket force in the front. This is all that remains of Delta, mind you. So Delta taking more and more significant casualties here. And Blue 4 Delta's just been doing a great job of keeping them pinned up here. Buying more time for Op 4 not to be in position to help with this push, which is, I think, why Charlie's being so aggressive. But just looking at the map here, it's tough to see where Blue 4 might bounce back. What is interesting, though, is they're sending the 1117 around. I think they're going to try to pull this back to try to engage the forces on the rear, but you've got the Matt team already trying to line up shots on it. The BTR-80 puts a few shots on it as well. So that 1117 is going to be pushed out all the way over here and not recommitted anytime soon because now it's got a bunch of forces looking at it here. And then you got the LAV-25 back here, but again, it's trying to find an angle to look at Op 4 over here when it should really be concerned with the Op 4 over here. So Op 4 starting to make their move. I think from here, they're just going to go and take the low ground. The really interesting maneuver we're going to see them do, though, is how do they get from this AO to over here? They're going to have to recommit back to this hill and then potentially go back into the tree line, and maybe by then, Op 4 will push in, but you got a big chunk of Charlie now falling in behind Bravo here, and only a handful of guys now fighting with Charlie. This is going to lessen their combat effectiveness and potentially give Blue 4 the ability to bounce it back. But Objective 2 destroyed. We might see Delta now route from this position just to move into the AOs themselves, realizing they could potentially be flanked. 1117 coming around. Might try to find another angle to hit on the forces up there, but they're not the main threat at the moment. BTR-80 and BTR-80 Alpha, difference is the A means autocannon. So instead of the KPVT heavy machine gun, it has a 20mm cannon. To give you a visual difference, here's the BTR-80. And here is, where did they move the BTR-80 Alpha? It was over here. At least I thought it was. There she is. Here's the BTR-80 Alpha. 30mm cannon. My bad. I get the 20s and the 30s confused. Dingo trying to get more shots in here. I think he's bleeding a little bit, but he's going to keep this Blue 4 group pinned. Got to be careful when you're doing these maneuvers because you're caught in the open, and if someone gets a good angle on you, you're pretty much dead. Dingo immediately trying to suppress block because he saw that he had an angle on him. Your boy and Tim then get an angle as soon as he moves left, and he gets taken out. But now you got some Alpha members, Swola and Javi, coming into flank. Your boy doesn't get the get killed there. As Jabi also moving in, but looks like he gets killed from that. Well-placed grenade. It's a smoke grenade, though. Oh, if that was a frag, that would have killed Tim. Frag's being thrown out in retaliation, but they're behind trees, so not going to get anything. But ID gets a great flanking shot on one of the two Op4 guys up here. Now Swolla's over here alone. And you see Blue 4 now pulling back. That looks like they're going to all try to set up a defense around this position. You got the LAV-25 back there as well. And Op4, it looks like they're breaking down from this position to move around. But look at this. Timing-wise, the 117 is in a position. Will he catch the BTR? He does. And he's got 200 rounds of 50 cal to work with. Oh, this is going to be devastating. But the BTR-80 comes along the rear, gets behind the 117 and knocks it out. AT goes in. RPG gets a hit, but it doesn't get a kill. Patriot desperately tries to get out. Charlotte, go for the follow-up shot. Finish it off. Wow, that thing does not want to die. And there goes the 117. Again, I think it would have been better on a bit more of a defensive role or a quicker attack role in the beginning. They just played that asset a little too overcautiously, and it cost them. Patriot goes down as he tries to get some grenades in. Had a good opportunity, but unfortunately they were cut off by the other BTR running escort in the convoy. Great coordination between those two BTRs to identify the threat, have the lead vehicle continue to push instead of trying to take the threat out, let the second vehicle do it. That was textbook. I absolutely loved it. Looks like Swolla also got taken out up here. He might have tried to commit or something. But now it's just Banks and Major Con back here. And Bravo now pulling all the way back. This force playing incredibly defensively with their push. And that's going to allow Blue 4 to redeploy on the final objective. I get it, though. What's going to end up happening is this force is going to come around, get into here, and then Overwatch for this objective. And this team either, again, plays super defensive and comes back around, or just pushes directly. But you got some elements of Charlie now coming into the final objective back here. They're going to get overwhelmed, but at that point, it's just a game of how many people can Charlie 1 for Blue 4 take with them, because there is still a decent chance for Blue 4 to win. You still have the heavy hitters with Pepega Pirates up here under Delta, and I hate to hype them up like this. I don't want them to disappoint, but they are some of the best players in the game, but so are Scandi Recon under Bravo right now. Nemesis, for example. Malin as well, who's right now the freaking head honcho of FNF for Hex sake, for the early branch at least, because FNF is two different groups. You have the early branch, which I cover, and then the late branch. Both are 3 rounds of PvP match commentary, or PvP God, One Life please. That I do match commentary on, except I only do it on the early branch. Talking myself in a circle here. The LAV had 74 rounds. The BTR-80 Alpha had 69. Looks like Patriot woke back up, and they just proceeded to mag dump the absolute shit out of him. Now the 80 Alphas come back to provide support, but the job's done. So now I think the vehicles are just going to push up the MSR. Delta's going to come around the flank. Maybe Echo's going to escort the vehicles up, but we'll see. Almost halfway through the round right now. And again, for all things considered, this being a small AO, I'm surprised it's actually gone this long. Usually AOs of this size are over with by now, but that's because the attackers have been playing this very defensively in their movements, and very, I guess, cautiously would be the better term. And then Blue 4, even though they've lost quite a bit, it's just with that cautiousness their enemy is doing, they've been able to constantly re-rally their forces and push them where they need to. Sanjapair trying to do recon here. He's getting suppressed by the 2 BTRs. Looks like the BTRs grabbed Echo, and now they're moving in. Gordon's going to be solo crewing this vehicle. One thing we got to be worried about, though, are those 50 cals up on this ridge, because they can shred the crewmen inside of the BTR. Now you got Op4 starting to push in. They're going to be encountering resistance with Charlie 1. Now again, this is the matter of how much damage can these 5 guys do. You got the LAVs also repositioned up here, firing at Gamma 2 over there. Gordon's going to go up to this hill as a solo crewman. I think that's going to be a sacrifice at this point. LAV's already trying to hone in on him. Gets some hits. Gordon immediately turns away. He's got to turn more left because he's about to go on a hill again. Engine's on the rear of that vehicle too, so if he takes too many hits with the AP, he's going to be dead in the water. LAV's pursuing. I think they've realized that the BTR 80 is empty. Driver might get a great flank if he can switch to that gunner seat. Wait a minute. Oh, a near ramp. Gunner's trying to turn. He gets knocked out. And that 80 Alpha gets annihilated, dead in the water. Back on the infantry fight. Looks like 2 Blue 4 have died up on this hill. Murden, I think, just got a kill on an Op 4 member outside of here. Blue 4 are playing site security right now. Quick reference, by the way. Op 4 know that the cache is somewhere in this zone. They don't know its specific position. Blue 4 know where exactly it is because of this marker. As a spectator, we get to see both, and I get to reference both, which is quite nice. Just heard some Echo Mat fire, and it hit the LAV. Follow-up shot from Charlotte. Second hit there. All right, Charlotte's been doing a great job with that medium anti-tank. That's both of the heavy vehicles from Blue 4 disabled or taken out. This one, though, that was a great range shot. That would make Iander proud. Iander, for reference, is the best AT player I've ever met, who we occasionally see play under Scandy Recon in Friday Night Fights. He's not here tonight, but definitely an Iander level shot there. Stutz trying to get a... Tim Kappa trying to get a kill on Stutz. Might still get Norse with a grenade, but he runs too far back, so Tim gets knocked out. He tried to come down to flank. He's got 2 other guys coming to join him. That's going to open this flank up, but looks like Delta's going to be going on this hilltop to do Overwatch instead, which could potentially sandwich these remaining infantry. So it's going to end up falling to Delta to play point defense security. And Op 4... we can see that there's a few less triangles out, but not a lot. I think they were still equal or even a net positive on the 5 remaining guys out here. Actually, no, they did take a few casualties going in. I didn't notice that. So that's going to mean the numbers still on Op 4's side, but Blue 4 still got a pretty big chunk. You're hearing some machine gun fire going in on that side. Kermit's the only guy left here. One guy's on yelling. Looks like he's crippled from the grenade, so he's going to have no choice to bandage. More grenades going in on his position. But again, the real question is, how is Op 4 going to do this maneuvering? Because Delta might go on Overwatch and shoot at them if they go on the open. He's on a date this evening? Nice. Good ol' Iander. Blue 4, I think, just sniped somebody over here. Now you have the machine gunners mounting up, and they're going to start spotting these targets. These guys completely in the open right here. Have no choice but to turn around and engage that target. But they've got no cover to work with. One of them gets... actually, both of them got cut down very quickly by that Delta Overwatch position. I'm a little concerned why Scandy's all the way over here now. Kermit gets a double kill on this area. I can only find one body, though, so it might have been Jerry running around over here, but with Op 4 only having this handful remaining, Kermit's going to be able to play static defense on the objective here until more units run into this AO. So Scandy's going to have to pull in. Kermit's eventually going to expire, but again, it's a question of how many kills can he get. You got the 80 Alpha smoking in the distance. LAV-25 has actually been repaired, believe it or not. 2 AT hits to it, and it's still okay. That's nuts. I'm willing to bet Kermit might vault the wall here and try to get on the flank. That would be the smart thing to do. However, his footsteps are going to be heard. Zevik immediately turns around because he hears them. I guess Zevik didn't think he was that close. Kermit then heard his and immediately blew him away. Jerry's over here. Kermit's on 3 kills. Op4 still has 22 minutes to do this AO. Time's not going to be an issue. What's going to be an issue is manpower. Now Op4 still have the 80 up there. Kermit gets knocked out by Jerry. Jerry misses the follow-up shots, though. Kermit, I think, could still wake back up, but he has taken other wounds, so tough call there, but I'm not sure if Jerry has the firepower to actually blow up the cache on his own. Again, I really don't understand what Scandy's doing up in this position. Maybe they're going to try to then move up to the hill here and then push in, but it's a weird call. Oh my god, no. They're going to repair the 80 Alpha and use its autocannon. Very, very smart. That could turn the tide, because they're pretty much sniper rifles that will one-tap you. Looks like Jerry was able to get the double tap on Kermit. I see. Kermit woke back up, sprinted over here, and Jerry still got him. He did take Kermit's AT4, though, and that gives him the firepower to actually take this cache out. There's an RPG gunner in there, though, too. That can also be utilized. Here's the issue here. Blue 4 have their remaining forces over here. They've got access to both autocannon Vics. If they put them on this hilltop, they could overwatch pretty well, and that could be a nightmare for any Op4 trying to get in. So Blue 4 still have a pretty solid chance here. And I agree, Op4 is not going to see that coming because they think they took out the LAV-25. I'm not surprised the BTR-80 didn't get cooked off despite all the AP it took. I'm surprised the LAV-25 didn't cook off from the 2 RPG warheads that went into it. So Objective 3 gets destroyed. Sounds like he used the AT4 based off of the weapon sound. And we have a dropped AT4 right there. So Jerry getting the clutch from there. Now you got Scandy Recon trying to get on this ridge. This infantry group's going to be forced to push in. Here's a weakness in Op4's plan. Scandy Recon's very aggressive, same as Pepega Pirates, but that aggression sometimes gets them killed. We could see Scandy push in unsupported, and then they're going to meet their match with Pepega, possibly get canceled out, or it might be the day that Pepega gets the upper hand, because sometimes Pepega wipes the floor with Scandy, and sometimes it's vice versa. But Pepega's got defensive positions. Scandy has the high ground, but no cover. Could really go either way, but these 2 autocannon Vics are definitely going to turn the tide. Charlotte would have 2 AT rockets remaining, by the way, if they picked up who else? RPGs. So 1 per Vic could potentially knock them out, but still, it's a tough call. But these guys need to get these vehicles developed ASAP, because otherwise they're not going to be in any position to support the fight. If they try to put them up on the hill, that's just going to put them in a position for Scandy to hit them. And they do have an RPG gunner, and he does have multiple rounds, because any RPG light anti-tank is generally reloadable with, I think they have 2 warheads, but it might be 3. That's a good as question. Lone Survivor, how many RPGs does Op4 normally get when they utilize the RPG? How many warheads, I should say. Pierce taking some pot shots at, looks like Charlotte. Charlotte being very aggressive here, but has dropped her AT, so it's quite possible they just don't have any ammo left. Maybe they couldn't find who else's body. So with no medium anti-tank, looks like they're abandoning the 80 Alpha, maybe because it ran out of fuel. Snodgebear trying to fire on Olaf here, who's the team lead for Echo. Charlotte gets blown up by grenades from the looks of things. Grav got that kill, but it wasn't credited, which again shows that it was from grenades, or someone else got it. Well, I mean for the RPG-7, not the RPG-32 as. Schnuffle's now engaging Delta, but they're coming down in the open and trying to use smoke grenades. We've got the BTR-80 coming out to potentially help with the suppression. I don't know where it's going, though. It should be using this line of fire right here, but instead it's... Ah, there we go, there we go, there we go. 2 AT, 1 HE. Yeah, it's nuts. LAV-25's in a position now to stop this attack, but Scandy's going to be right behind it in a minute or 2. How much damage can this LAV get away with before it's taken out? RPG's fired. Looks like it falls just short. They were engaging the 80. Now it's firing with that KPTV. Did they ram the vehicle and somehow knock someone out in the Vic? I don't know what happened right here because they didn't get hit with AT. What did they do? That's weird. Well, there goes the LAV. Now it's looking more like Op4's ballpark here. Suppression going out on this hilltop. Maybe there was an RPG that fired. They might have hit a rock, too. I mean, if you hit a rock too hard and your vehicle's wounded, it will do a lot of damage. Nemesis coming in. Catches Steve out of position and annihilates him. Steve gets double tapped. Dream now coming up. Dream works with both Pepega and Scandy. He knows how difficult it is to fight them. Russian anti-tank rock. And we're at the 15-minute warning. Again, rare to see an AO of this small of a size get this far in the game, but it's going to make for an interesting climax here. Zapata running over. Grav takes a second to PID. Still gives him an opportunity to get a few shots on him, though. Just wasn't accurate with it. BTR firing. Might have just fired at friendlies. Tough to say. Nemesis, I think, just pulled Blam out of the Vic. No, he did not. Okay. Blue 4 now in the single digits for numbers. Op 4 still in the double. And there's only so much Blue 4 is going to be able to do here. Grav comes out with his handgun, gets blown away by an AK. Handguns are really finicky in FNF. Chicken Sean, thanks for the 3-month resub. Hope you keep enjoying the content, my friend, and I'm glad you are continuing to enjoy everything. So I got the cache right here, and they're just peeking the door open. Wildly suppressing into the smoke. Shuffle's trying to time some grenades out here to catch anyone that might try to advance. Good air bursting there with it. Not giving them a lot of time to move if they try. 80's now coming down. It's looking around. Might look in the barracks second stories to potentially suppress Schnuffles here. Look, it's a valiant effort by Blue 4, but ever since the beginning where they had such high casualty rates, it just wasn't enough at that point. BTR comes up and rams the Vic. Rams the wall to open it so that Op4 can now push in. Swede trying to desperately throw a bunch of smokes out here. Jerry now coming around. It's probably going to be the most difficult cache to find out of all of them. Rund is knocked out over here. Schnuffles died. I think Oddball pushed in and breached him. He is on 2 kills. Blue 4 down to 3 players up. Op 4, I think, has like a 5-to-1 advantage right now. Op 4 at least has about 12 to 15 guys. Yeah, it's about 15 right now because there's 2 in the BTR. Run doesn't see the partially open door. Pays for it with his life. P-Gunner firing into the door is going to suppress the shit out of it. Runs into the building. Grenades going out. Daedalus running in with an RPG. Door fully shut. Infantry breaching. Pierce held the door closed. Malin's gonna get grenaded. But that also got Pierce! So Pierce just blew himself up with his own grenade. Classic. They have a 50 count gun bag in here. I think they just found the other guy that was on the outside. So if Knowledge dies, it's GG anyway. Because he would be the last person up. Yeah, because it's just blamming that Vic, but he's on con. PKM gets the suppression. And that's GG. It's probably not going to proc, though, because Blam, I think, is in that state where he's fully bandaged up, but he's not... He doesn't have enough blood to wake back up, so we're just waiting on the kill. But it could be called here. All right, so that was a pretty strong round 1. We still got rounds 2 and 3. And there's the call by elimination. I'm going to be honest, Spacious, it is... I would say it's 50-50. It really depends on the AO.
A warm welcome, shall we?
I'm not going to lie. If there is an AO where the defenders just have an open area all around the AO, more often than not, they win that type of fight. If they have really bad AOs to defend, though, almost always the attackers win. It's taken AO to AO. Screeching, thank you for dropping by. Round 2 will begin momentarily. Just got to get through our black screen here. And there we go. We're going to be on Pulau. Awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and change up our commands. This is also the only time when I'm streaming where I actually run a few ads because I need the transition time to write up the commands there. So bear with me here. Multi is going to be the same. Music, I am going to turn up slightly. That's better. Map is going to be Pulau, if I can spell correctly. And let's go ahead and go over into our mission command. This is round 2. Round 2 is going to feature the following assets. Wow. Green 4 is attacking 3 blue 4 sectors. Green 4 gets a whopping 10% numbers advantage. And let me know if the music's too loud, by the way, guys. And a DSHK Techie, while Blue 4 has they got 3 Humvees, but they're not armed, so I'm not going to include them, but they get 3 M2 statics. This is mainly going to be an infantry-only fight. That's fascinating. A 10% numbers advantage on an infantry-only fight, but that is also why Blue 4 also gets 3 of those M2 statics. That'll be interesting. Did I get out of the doghouse? Yes, I'll talk about it when I stream Darktide tonight. Probably going to be streaming it solo because Dante has other arrangements, or I'll play with some other people. Otherwise, we'll see how things go. Now, guys, other announcements for today. We've got an interesting operation at 6:30 tonight. I will be Zeusing in my community. We have a full house, ground command and 3 squads, Chinese UN. I'm trying to recreate a scenario similar to the 2016 incident with Chinese UN peacekeepers and a bit of a bloody conflict there, and they're going to be fighting some pretty heavy stuff. And then after that, I'll be taking a break, and then we'll be coming back for some Darktide and then some mission deving. Got a lot of stuff to do, got a lot of stuff to work with. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, only a single stream in the evening. It's going to be a Karma Cut Zeus operation, and we're going to start Zeusing weekly for him now on Saturdays. Very exciting.
Let's give him a warm welcome,
So,
shall we?
Darktide, I played the hell out of it when it first came out. I then took a few months of a break, and then when I was sitting with Dante, who's a buddy of mine that also streams, I brought it up again, and then a day later, I saw him playing the hell out of it, and he is more of a Darktide beast than me. He's got one of the best Ogren builds out of anyone in the game. and he rocks it pretty hard with a shield build. And when he wants to be, he's nigh unkillable. I will if Pierce commands green 4. Oh, they want Pierce to command. Vagrant's going to be commanding green 4. Sam going to be commanding blue 4. Psyker gameplay is fun. You are literally a glass cannon, and you just have to know how to play it properly. Because if you get touched twice, you're dead on Damnation, but get a flame staff and just go burr. Oh, poor Hodor. It was funny that we had 2 Ogrins that were Game of Thrones references, but Dante had one of the best clutches I have ever seen him do, only for Hodor to drop the ball on that one. God, that was nuts. But I'm excited for the Chinese peacekeeping op tonight. I'm going to lower the music just slightly. Kilo, there's a certain power sword you should use. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what it is. It's the power sword that has the little spear tip at the end. That one, even on Damnation, your melee weapon as a Psyker should really just be to get you out of a pinch of trouble. And that pinch should be usually hordes, because anything heavier, you should be with your team and they should have something to more easily one-tap that. But what you should also be considering is either getting a shock staff to stunlock the bigger guys, or getting a Purgatus staff, whatever the fire staff is, to stunlock the, whatchamacallit, the hordes. The other 2 staffs are great. It's just more focused damage in a smaller area, which, again, has its utility if you have other people that are doing stunning, but if you have no stun and you go on a Damnation run, God help you, because you will get swarmed. Hey, right, O'Don. I don't know who launched the prediction yet. That wasn't me. That was another moderator. Yeah, so people are just waiting for, I think what'll bring back a lot of people to Darktide is when they release the subclasses. And we'll see how all that'll work. I don't know, though. With the, what they've added with Darktide with the Brunt's Armory, now it's a lot easier for you to get the gear that you want. It's just trying to roll a 380 is very, very expensive, but it's possible. That's the highest gear score you can get. But then even then, you might find that the items are just shit, and they just unslotted everyone for some silly reason. Brain Burst, the only reasons to use it is to kill an annoying sniper. But I'm going to be honest, I never have an issue if I need to kill a sniper just using a staff's primary blast, and just hitting it once will make the sniper piss off, and usually by then someone else will kill it. Because when you're brain bursting it, it can still get a shot or 2 off, and in Damnation, those shots can be lethal, even when you have full health. Brain Burst, I wouldn't even waste Brain Bursting on Crushers. If you really are scared of Crushers, you need to get a Shock Staff. Or run with someone that can stun lock or stagger them, which is going to be an Ogren with a shield. Not gonna lie, when Dante runs Ogren with shield and I run a Psyker Staff, we're fine. Because, I can just run a Fire Staff and he can stagger all the big units and we just kill everything. Then we rely on the 2 randos to have something for ranged, and it's okay. But what we discovered last night is it's better for Ogren, since they released the new dual bolters, heavy stubbers. That's what they are, heavy stubbers. The Mark IV is really, really good to use. The other one fires too fast. It's not good for DPS, and it blows through ammo too quickly. But the Mark IV... we call it the M60, and that one's great for killing ranged units if you need to. But it's very easy to go into the mode of, I'm just going to murder everything with this, and then there goes all my ammo. But I'm going to be honest, like, all 4 classes going down class to class. Veteran is your jack of all trades. Yes, they have a plasma gun. Yes, they have the power sword, which, in my opinion, the power sword's probably still the best freaking melee weapon that isn't an Ogren weapon. Even though they've nerfed it multiple times. But that thing's great for just cleaving through large amounts of enemies, but they've buffed other weapons to kind of make up for it, because, I mean, it used to be every dude would run a freaking power sword back in the day, because he would just infinitely cleave through everything, but they nerfed that. Really, the Veteran is good for taking out mass groups of ranged enemies on the larger maps, like the Hourglass. That can be a gigantic pain in the ass if you don't have anyone that just does a good amount of range damage. But I'm just going to point this out there. In all the rounds we failed last night, we had Veterans. And Dante and I were running dual Ogren because, I don't know. It was just pointing that out. Don't know why that was the case, but I think people are too comfortable taking Veterans on Damnation without realizing how difficult Damnation is. I think anyone could easily solo Heresy. But a Damnation solo build, the only people I think that could get away with that is maybe a Preacher with a bleed crit knife. But even then, nothing's meant to be soloed on Damnation. That's where the team game comes in. But Ogren is just your tank with a shield. Honestly, this was another interesting point brought up by my chat last night, but once you get to the max level and you start doing Damnation, as long as you go to the Brunt's Armory and you get a weapon above 350 for its attributes, any weapon can do Damnation as long as you just know how to use it, to be perfectly honest. But your entire party needs to fill specific roles. You need to have a way to kill elites very quickly. You need to have a way to stagger the enemies so they don't immediately swarm your ass. And you have to have a way to deal with snipers. Because snipers will kick your ass very quickly. You're going to try Damnation on your level 15 vet. Vaughn, what did I just say? But anyway, other 2 classes. Preacher does what the Ogren does, but it has much more survivability.
Yay, not joining at the end. Usually end up watching on the final round when only 10 people left.
Righto, Jimbo. Thanks for the 15-month resub. It's round 2. We'll start covering it in a second. I read that description. I'm not going to read that out loud. That was quite interesting. But Preacher does what an Ogren does, except the Preacher has a flamethrower, which I'm going to be honest, Psyker has a better choice with the Fire Staff. Or you can give the... really, the Preacher, I mean, you can give her a Bolter, you can give her a regular Lasgun. She just... I would say is just the more survivable class, because you can make her to that if you are about to die, you can literally get all of your health back in Damnation. And I was having a lot of fun because I only pulled my Preacher out for 1 or 2 rounds. And in those 1 or 2 rounds, I would literally throw myself to the Horde at low health, let them hurt me, knock my... I forget what it's called. I think Martyrdom or something. And then I would just heal all my health by killing everything. But anyway, round has begun. I already said my Psyker was, Psykers are glass cannons, but definitely your DPS. Anyway, let's go ahead and go over this round here. So, round 2, Depso has an ad sector map. Background here is the Pulau uprising, is about to end. Coalition troops have been ordered to retreat and await extraction via boats in the port cities of Laura and Tobacco. Still enraged, the people of Pulau are set. I used to call it Puala all the time, which is why I'm calling it that. It's Pulau. Are set on revenge and are not interested in letting the coalition troops escape unscathed. They there's one last so English isn't his first language, that's why it's a little choppy. One last attack to do as much damage as possible. The coalition troops have to defend until the boats arrive and extract them from the island. Notes, southern part of the island is controlled by the uprising army, means that they can spawn somewhere in the south. Okay. going a little away from the voices here. Game mode here is Ad Sector. How Ad Sector works is the defenders have sectors to defend, defenders in this case being blue 4, and they are defined by this large zone here. If at any point the attackers enter the zone and have a number advantage in the zone for player count, meaning let's say the defenders have 2 people in the zone and the attackers push 3 people in the zone, the attackers start contesting the sector. A 90-second timer will start. You'll see one of these boxes start to fill, whichever, if you notice they're labeled. These are also labeled. It ties to the zone, so if Sector 1 starts being taken, this box will start to fill from the bottom to the top. And once the 90 seconds have elapsed, the sector is captured, and it cannot be recaptured by the defenders. If at any point the attackers lose the number advantage in the sector via they die, they get knocked unconscious, or they leave the sector, the timer pauses and then is reset upon the attackers having the number advantage in the sector again. I'd say Ad Sector is probably the most common game mode you see in FNF. Anyway, looking at the rest of the game mode here, render distance is a little over a kilometer. Build points for the defenders is 175, which is 50 over the standard 125 they give defenders. Usually, objects cost anywhere from 5 and 20 points, so the extra 50 is quite nice. Otherwise, medium anti-tank, let's see. There is no echo for blue 4, and there is no echo for green 4, so this is redundant because it doesn't matter. Blue 4's kits are going to be your modern military woodland camouflage kits. Loadouts are going to be Mark 17s, which are Scar Ls, excuse me. Which is basically the 5.56 Scar platform, or Mark 18 Mod 1s, which is just another M4 platform. Glock 17s for the secondary, M249s for the Alpha Bravo and Charlie light machine gunner, M240 Gulls for the Delta medium machine gunner, light anti-tank for Alpha Bravo and Charlie is going to be the M136 disposable HE AT rocket launcher, and then crew and aviation I don't think matters because there's no crew and aviation slots. Otherwise, Blue 4 have 2 transport Humvees, 3 Humvees that are only 4-man capacities. These are transports because they're double, because they have the bench spots in the back, and then the 3 static M2 platforms that only have 400 rounds total across 4 different 100-round boxes. Nothing on Op 4 because Op 4 doesn't exist for this round. Uniforms for Green 4 for the attackers are going to be a Vietnamese Army Woodland Camouflage Kit bash. Otherwise, loadouts are going to be AK-47s, classic, or AKSs. PM handguns are in play here for their secondary weapon. RPKs are going to be for the light machine gunners in Alpha Bravo and Charlie. Medium machine gunners in Delta are going to get the PKP. RPG-7s for the reloadable AT for... the light anti-tank for Green 4, which I believe they get a second round for. And then crew and aviation doesn't matter, but I do love seeing that PPSH right there. Assets are going to be 2 transport Land Rovers, 1 pickup Dishka, which this specific one only has a 90-degree arc of fire, 45 degrees left of the front, 45 degrees right of the front. It doesn't have the full 360 turn ability, and they only have 450 rounds of that of 12.7 across 9 boxes of 50. 2 BTR-40s, but not armed. They're the transport variant, 2 ZIL transport trucks, an additional covered ZIL transport truck, and 2 vans. These are the vanilla open flatbed van as well. Yes, Devour, just make sure you put it in my DM so I remember, because you're now going to make 14 mission files I have to do this week instead of 13, so I'll get on that tonight or tomorrow when I have the time. But anyway, that's a small digression for another op that's going to happen next week, probably on Tuesday at this rate. But otherwise, let's look at our roster here. So Sam is going to be commanding for Blue 4. Lolo is going to be the platoon medic. Excuse me. Ash is going to be leading Alpha. Dingo is going to be his 2IC. Major Khan's going to be the marksman. Marksman rifle for these guys is going to be the Mark 11. Let's see. Alexander leading Alpha 1 with Kiri, Huel, Olaf, and Patriot under him. Swola going to be leading as the auto rifleman. Alpha 2 with Tackleberry, Banks, and Wheaton. Pro Hunter going to be leading Bravo. Looks like they merged all Bravo together, so it's Pro Hunter leading Gogu, Aim with the Stars, Cameron, Hemaranos, RB, Fila, Jean Coop, Martin, and Raven, excuse me. Rookie leading Charlie with Charlotte taking the marksman rifle. Zevik leading Charlie 1 with Pedro, Agnar, Snagel Panther, Ungrim, and Alex Charlie 2 being led by Baller Deluxe with your boy, Legend, Block, Tim Kappa, Colton, and ID. Delta being led by Pierce with Snajapair and Nolik taking machine gunner roles, and then he's taking those from Alpha 1, so Alpha 2 has Xnarka, Gerzanka, that's it. And then Wajik, and then Pingus as the other machine gunner, though it looks like he gave that to someone because he has Mark 17 instead. So I wonder who he gave that to. I think he gave it to Pierce. Yeah, because Pierce has that machine gun. I love that we can do that, honey. So Bloodwing just went out to our garden and got some fresh parsley. Yeah, from the garden, because we have parsley and cilantro out there. But anyway, how is it out there? You can see that the smoke's still all around. Little foggy. But otherwise, looking out at Green 4 here, Vagrant's going to be commanding one of the top commanders in FNF. Grav's going to be his 2IC, Oddball as the platoon medic. Steve is going to be leading Alpha with Mike as the marksman. Marksman rifle is going to be the SVD. Rufy has the medic kit. Kermit is going to be leading Alpha 1, Depso, Waldo, and Kabubi. Norris going to be leading Alpha 2 with Stutz. Inara, Harrington, Gordon, and Bates. Friesno going to be leading Bravo with Jabby as the marksman. Cooper being the leadership for Bravo 1 as the machine gunner with Hybrid and Leon. Ilya going to be leading Bravo 2 with Tomer, Dratis, and Omri. Flux leading Charlie with Schnuffles as the 2IC, and Novix taking the marksman role. Zoni leading Charlie 1 with Arma, Jesus, Tim, Tony, Girk, Geekus, English. Korvac, Slim, John, and SL Dream. Charlie 2 being led by Swede with Rund, Arshion, Medin, and Bestafar. Delta being led by Yanni Finn with Puma as the medic. Cats leading Delta 1 with Nemesis, Oliver, Daedalus, Malin, and Iced Coffee. Nafs leading Delta 2. That's going to not be an issue at all. Cats and Nafs. Very two similar names, being two leadership positions for the squads. Interesting. But Nafs leading Steve, Dobbs, Cullis, and Brar. I just realized there's two Steves. There's Steve and then Steve, right? There's another Steve. Am I losing my mind? Yeah, there's DD Steve, and then there's regular Steve. And they're both on the same squad, same side. Interesting. Now, right off the bat, Scandy, Recon, and Pepega are together in Green 4. Take with that information what you will. Anyway, let's look at Sector 1. Sector 1 is going to be on its own AO over here. I'd imagine Blue 4 is not going to defend this one at all. Instead, they're going to go and defend the other two AOs, which are next to each other, in this much more defensible position at Tobacco. We've got basically a whole castle perimeter around this town under both sectors. And it looks like the sectors are actually back and back, the northern half of Tobacco and the southern half of Tobacco. So you got a nice internal defensive line with the castle around these buildings, and then you can go out and try to lock down these open areas around this position as well. And then also, you know, you got the coast with some of the trees to work with right here. You can lock these positions down as well there. So Blue 4's got a pretty good AO to defend. They've got a great internal perimeter to work with. They got great open fields to lock down any Green 4 advances with. So I can understand why they put the two top communities on the offensive side, because this is going to be a tough one to fight on. Might see Blue 4 put a few mines or explosive traps or something in Sector 1, but beyond that, I think they're just going to hold these other two AOs down here. Yeah, with Vagrant commanding them too. Vagrant usually knows how to command as well, so this is going to be an interesting one. How would Green 4 attack this one, though, is the real question. I think having the infantry come through, maybe put a squad up on the tree line over here, but nothing more than a squad because there's not enough room for them to operate with. Have your Overwatch force come over here and then maybe have something attack from the northern side as well. Those are the only real options. They're going to have to basically divide and conquer and try to hit this AO from multiple fronts to make Blue 4 collapse the lines to allow other forces to advance, and then just surround this AO and try to get what they can, because it's a toughie. This one's really a toughie for the attackers to hit, and that's the only plan they can really do. Because otherwise, if they overcommit on one side, they're going to be forced to push through a lot of open areas with those extra forces, and they're just going to get slaughtered, especially by these three guard towers up here that I think they have 270-degree coverage because they lack a open door or open window in some points. And so for this tower, ironically, it's the one they kind of need. And then for this one, it's also the one they kind of need. So Either way. And then you got this position right here. They put some bunkers down as well. I mean, yeah, they're really going to turtle that final spot. But this also means that it's going to take 5 or even 10 minutes for Green 4 to get in position to start hitting this AO, because I doubt Blue 4 is going to send anything out to try to counter any maneuvers that Green 4 makes, because A, the size of this AO to defend, and B, there's multiple routes Green 4 can take, and it's not worth the risk of sending infantry out to try to counter. Maybe. Only thing I can think of is maybe put some Blue 4 out over here to stop anything that tries to flank around from the north, and then you can keep them situated even if Green 4 doesn't do anything, because Green 4 sure as hell is going to use this forest, so as soon as they start shooting from the forest, you can then sandwich them with a rear attack. But that's the only thing I can think of. When you put forces outside of the AO, you really want to make sure they have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If plan A doesn't work, immediately transition them to plan B. If plan B doesn't work, transition them to plan C. The more you can tack onto them, the more useful they're going to be throughout the scenario, because otherwise you're just going to have forces out in the AO, and then they're not going to be able to actually do anything, and it's just wasted manpower. And I see that way too many times in FNF, where they'll sometimes trickle back in too little too late, and by then, your opponent's already won. Oh, man. Yeah, then we go to plan F, in which case we've already lost, right, Fluorescent? But beyond that, again, large AO, Green 4 is going to have to really rely on their transport vehicles to get them there, because walking in this large of an area is just going to eat up too much time. And we're just going to have to go from there. Alright, so I was just checking my phone announcements for things, nothing important, but stuff I should probably deal with after the stream, maybe if I have a few minutes between the ending of FNF and the UN Chinese op today. Yeah, Green Force Convoy does look a bit messy. I think they're just trying to organize who's going into what Vic. We could see them also spread their forces out between the Vics instead of pile everything on. That's usually a common tactic we see, both to help organize the squads into groupings of Vics, as well as divide all the forces around. So if, you know, 3 Vics full of infantry is going to be a lot easier to take out than 7 Vics of less infantry. But we'll also see, it looks like some routes are going to be different. These guys might be tasked with going and hitting that sector, and then the rest of these guys might come up here, get on the SSRs. Actually, technically, they're all MSRs. These are MSRs, and these are SSRs, because the AO only has those types of roads. So traveling up the MSR here, and then going in through there. Time limit for fights is 50 minutes after a 15-minute safe start for both sides to basically make a plan and put their forces out and about. There's the mission start. Units are now going ahead. Yep, so 1 squad with the BTR, 40s are going to be going off to the right. Again, I think they're going to be going for Sector 1 here. We also see a single guy. So Charlie, Papega Pirates are being tasked with hitting that sector, and then everyone else is going to be going up on the left to Probably ride down this MSR, dismount in the jungles over here, and then push in on foot. These guys go out, hit Sector 1, and then move out. I think they're also properly predicting that Blue 4 is not going to have a lot in Sector 1. They're instead going to be focusing on Sector 2 and 3, which, again, just shows you how seasoned Vagrant is in predicting that this is the case. Hold on, I gotta check something real quick. Sorry, so for the UN op, someone just messaged me saying I thought the op was tomorrow, and I wanted to check my timestamps in case I put the wrong date down, but I did not. I have two different timestamps in the op. One is a Discord timestamp code that localizes the time for you in your time zone, and the other one is my localized time zone. And I know they're correct when they match. But when I get messages like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought the op was tomorrow, it's like, how could you? Because there's literally two time zones listed there, so you don't do that. Nah, whatever. But whenever I get messages like that, I immediately think, oh gosh, I screwed something up. You know, if I announce an op for one time and then say it's hosted at another, obviously that's an issue, but nah, just user error. Alright, so we've got a big chunk of forces already coming up the MSR here. Some forces are lagging behind a bit. I think that's just the difference in vehicles. What are these chuckleheads doing? They're going off-road, trying to utilize the dirt here. You know, Kilo, there's some communities out there that record things called OCAPs. I think FNF does too. And I'm trying to remember how it might be possible to access them. Between this round and the next round, I'm going to look something up real quick, and it might have your answers, but I'll have to see. I gotta dig some information up. You might be interested in it. But if anyone in chat knows what I'm talking about, yes, there it is. Thank you, Malin. Kilo, take a look at Malin's link. That's exactly what I was thinking of, because that also has all the macro data for all the players. It's not much, but I try my best if I know of something that exists, not just for my player base to enjoy the ops I make, but for you guys, if there's something I think you might enjoy, I try to get it for you. Hey, take out the banana tree. Yep, and that's the macro data. Thank you. Appreciate it, Mal. Well, we'll make Neko's day there. All right. Green 4's done a full dismount. We got more groups over here. One of them just turned around. Looks like because one vehicle might have busted a wheel. Yeah, their technical, I think, hit the hill too hard. So now some vehicles might be turning around to go lend assistance. Yeah, no, I've come to appreciate OCAP because what we do in the Karma Cut operations on Saturday night is after they do the main debrief, they then go on a Discord channel and they go over the OCAP. And if there's anything I feel like I need to cut in, let's say like there's a pretty nasty ambush, or someone died and they go over why that happened, I as the Zeus, usually because I end up covering and catching the angle of that, I then also give in 2 cents. But again, Karma's how he's running his community in terms of a super focused milsim. He's doing it quite well. I'm pretty impressed for the fact that he was a squad player and then he decided to double down into Arma. It's quite nice. Pretty much, Neko. That would be a good assumption for it. But to my knowledge, there isn't really any other tool that can get more of that telemetry data that you're looking for. And if anyone knows of a better tool, let me know, and then we can help them out, but just my knowledge. You have to talk to Indigo who made OCAP. Yeah, that's fair. But again, ARM is a platform. You can pretty much build anything that you want if you put your mind to it. I'd say the engine would limit you, but people have come up with so many solutions to get around this damn engine. Otherwise, you got what appears to be Pepega staying on reserve back here. I think these guys want to initialize the attack here first and then send these guys in. They're probably going to rush in, take Sector 3, and then follow the forests up and then hit that position. So it's going to be a delayed attack that turns into a pincer maneuver. However, I got to give credit to Blue Force Commander here too, Sam. He's accurately predicted that Green Force probably going to attack from the north and swing in. So he's put a lot of infantry out here to do so. He's put, you know, Bravo and Alpha on the southern side as well. And in this even divide, what's going to end up happening is these guys are going to take the main engagement, and then these guys might move around and flank over or fall in and play defense so that these guys can then fold into the cover, and then maybe you might see one force come around and flank. So a very good defensive line made here that offers a lot of room for the defenders to respond to any attack wave, which is quite nice. So these guys staying mounted, occasionally dismounting. 1 or 2 guys maybe to look around to make sure that they're clear. But again, there isn't really any Blue 4 asset that has the capacity to potentially run into these guys. So I think they can bet that they're fairly safe. So now we just wait for Green 4 to come in. But again, Blue 4 have some pretty solid defense lines. The question is going to be how far are they going to spot Green 4 coming in, and how quickly can Blue 4 react to where Green 4 is positioned on the map at any given time from now and the rest of the game, until the attack starts at least. Example being, if Blue 4 spots them out here, they can immediately order these units to come around, and then by the time they're actually pushing against the Blue 4 defensive line, Blue 4 can then open up with a really nice flank on that side. However, if Green 4 gets right on top of these Blue 4 positions, that really doesn't give Blue 4 any room to pull back, or a lot of time for these guys to do any sort of elaborate flanking, and they're going to have to be forced to pull back into the AO.
Tell me ugly, please, and I will go, man.
Alright, Kitsune, I appreciate... Actually, I don't appreciate it. No. Bad. Someone bonk her for that. Or him. Whatever. Just bonk the goddess.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry. It's my turn.
So, funny enough, BFG... There was a way that you could make an area in your mission file, and then you could just put a line of code that basically disabled animation changes that would put you in the freefall animation at that height. However, there was an update recently where a new line of code was introduced into the game that basically allowed you to set a custom freefall height. Which, you know, both of those are useful for certain circumstances, but, you know, both are two different ways to tackle the problem. But that just goes to show you how this sandbox has multiple ways to break an egg, essentially. You just gotta think about what you can do to make it work. And then just test the shit out of it. That's also why I like watching other Zeuses do things, because they will teach me something new that'll end up optimizing how I do things and make my life much easier. Because most Zeuses, you know, only do 1 or 2 ops a week. I'm usually anywhere from like 5 to 10. Immediately, Katz comes up and takes a marksman shot. And like that, the fight begins. A lot of room here for Blue 4 to immediately send forces around. We'll see what they do. Green 4 immediately returning with heavy fire. These guys still haven't moved yet. God damn it, Radical. Heavy suppression going out here. Blue 4. Don't know why we're seeing some people running out in the open and immediately getting gunned down. They should not be moving at this point, but it looks like they're starting to fold back off of these positions. This advance was just spotted. Why would you dig this trench and then use the rocks and not the... Okay.
Can you point for me?
It's fine.
Point. Nice.
Green 4 immediately getting knocked, some even died. Why would you fire smokes? You're just helping conceal them from your firing lines. Unless your intent is to pull back, but... the only place you can really pull back to is the actual defensive area over here. You'd want to hold out a bit more. So at this point, based off of the aggression we're seeing Green 4 doing, and Blue 4 hasn't really pulled anything off to the sides yet. We did see one of the groups pull in, though. I guess we're going to see the remaining groups also pull in. Yeah, wait for Alex to stand up and get friendly fire headshotted by the guy behind him. It happens more often than you think. I'm loving the GLs we're seeing getting launched out here, though. But Green 4 is returning with a bunch of smokes being popped. Even some thermite grenades being thrown by their engineer. But hey, smoke's smoke, right? The movie checking that bunker. So otherwise, Charlie, it looks like they're trying to fold forces off of this hill. They want to go into the internal area here. These guys are going to end up coming to this Overwatch area. And this is going to be your main force. Here's my issue with this. Look at the amount of triangles we see over here. Look at the amount of triangles we see over here. You should have more infantry on the immediate push than the Overwatch, but I also get why they have this way, because as I said earlier, this is a very thin part of terrain, so you don't want to have all your forces out right here. What I think they're going to end up doing is, since Delta's over here, Delta's going to be doing the Overwatch, and then they're going to be putting half of the force here to push in this little bit of defilade cover, this hilliness, to get into the AO, because that's their only real choice they have in maneuvering. Now, if my fear is that we're going to see all these guys just stay on the ridge in Overwatch, and then these guys are going to get torn up by the defense, and that's just going to be a waste of manpower for the attackers, which is then going to turn the shifted tide here for the defenders to actually win. Hoping we don't see that. I just saw Ronka here get RPG'd, and someone else actually got killed by the RPG. Good RPG hit there. But, again, I've seen plenty of PvP runs where one of the sides puts way too many guys on Overwatch, and then the, you know, force that's actually doing the objective just gets annihilated. Even in instances where one side should have won, they had too many people on Overwatch, and they just threw it away, and it's, again, more often than you'd think. I love the explosives going off. It was a little early, though. Well, Kilo, I look forward to seeing you next week, then. Feel free to also show up this Sunday at 11 o'clock because we're going to be having the second round, or the second day, which is rounds 3 and 4 of Solid Games versus WOG, which is 220 player PvP, and then Thursdays with OFCRA at 3 o'clock. If you want to see more. They put a second explosive trap right here. That first one went off a little early. I don't think they realized in all the smoke they actually pinned the green 4 attack wave here. But now you got Alpha that's folded in. Charlie now coming around. Dismounting all the way back here. Then you got Major Khan all the way back here playing rear security, I guess. Not a bad thing to do, though. Just in case there's another attack wave that comes in. Green 4 has stalled on the beachfront here, though. They still have the manpower to continue, but they're going to run into a brick wall in this defense line, because just look at all the defenders right here. Way too many guys up on that Overwatch area, and it looks like they're actually all committing to coming on the Overwatch side, because Bravo is getting into position. So I'm a little worried that Blue 4 is just going to be able to engage anything that comes up on it. I think what Green 4 is trying to do is to pull all the forces they can on this side so Charlie can come in on the rear and actually hit the positions. But Blue 4, because they have all eggs in one basket right here holding these two sectors, they can afford to put people on the southern line and people on the northern line. So what's going to end up happening is this force is going to trickle in, die, that force is going to trickle in and die, and then everyone on Overwatch is going to have to trickle in and die as well. Basically, the attackers are going to be defeated in detail here. BFG Freak, way ahead of me there. I love it. I love it when you guys can see it too. Look at this GL going in though. Just a little far, but if it was a little closer, that would have gotten a great multi-kill. The artillery support is literally the grenade launchers in the 2IC parts of the squad. So Dingo, Rookie doesn't have one, so it's only Dingo firing that at that point. They used to have all squad leaders have GLs, but then they nerfed it because they buffed grenade damage, and grenades actually can kill people now. They did that a while ago, mind you, but they then took away some of the GLs because they realized GLs were really, really powerful with the new buffs they did. And again, if you're into PvP, I implore you to come Sunday, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and watch the VOD on Liru's VODs on YouTube, or Twitch will still have it, because we saw some of the best PvP ever in that night. Because it was full-on tank and IFV PvP. There was an MI-24 and an MI-28 doing some great cast runs, and they were actually, like, sniping each other's Vics. It was amazing. Some great individual infantry plays as well. We had one man holding one of the AOs by himself for like 20 minutes. It was ridiculous. I agree that Blue 4 is losing ground on their turtle defense, and now they're at their final defensive line, but at the same time, Green 4 is pretty stalled here, and there's just a lot of open areas or really small choke points that they can come up to the sector, and Blue 4 can easily lock that down. And even if they can, there's one weapon that Blue 4 needs to utilize at that point, and it's the grenade. I don't know why that explosive trap just went out way too early. Maybe because Blue 4 is planning to push back out to clear... that shouldn't have gone off. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be 2 rounds of 2-hour PvP, so even if you show up late, because they usually are going to start 30 minutes late anyway, and they might have another like 30 minutes of technical issues like last week. Show up anytime between 11 and 12, you'll be fine. Let's look at the skull counts here. I got 1 skull here, I got a wounded here. I know a few Blue 4 guys have died and they left the server. Green 4 have taken 2 skulls here, 1 squad under a leadership position. So overall, actually not a lot of KIAs on either side, which is a little worrisome. Blue 4 needs to be doing a bit more attrition damage. And here comes the vehicle rush. And they're completely ignoring Sector 1, so someone's going to have to drive back there and take it. Major Con's gonna start calling this out, though. Great choice with that grenade. 2 kills and a knockout and a little bit of desync, but he was able to get a positive KD on that alone. Great choice with that grenade throw. Because he knew he was screwed, but the one action he wanted to do, get the grenade in. Good choice. Little worried with how few Blue 4 are now on this corner because some are being pulled to go deal with this attack. This could leave this attack wave to then sneak in. You got some Blue 4 out here. They tried to hold this position, but now they're being knocked out because they're being flanked by 2 Green 4 pushes. Balance of power starting to shift again. If Green 4 can capitalize and advance, this is where it could really turn around. Blue 4 still have a lot of good high power, high ground positions to work with though for Overwatch. And Green 4 isn't in a position to suppress every single one of them. Lasaga, if you want actually, you could do !FNF in chat, get in their Discord, and you could join up for round 3 in like 10 or 20 minutes. If not, you can come in next week and join all 3 rounds if you want, broski. Entirely up to you. Hermanos cannot get the keyhole on this one player up here. That's how you found the live stream? Fair enough, broski. I getcha. Well, I hope you enjoy watching them. Norris gets knocked out. Again, you don't want to be going to these open areas over here because you're just going to get picked off in the open. Here we go, Kabubi. He's assistant TL here, which is why he has that GL. He's going to pop a fresh mag. From this spot, though, can he work on anyone on the left with that grenade launcher? He's timing a grenade throw. Gets it right over, but people run into the bunker. Great timed grenade, though, and someone threw an explosive charge over, knowing that he was there if they probably heard his footsteps. Kabubi vaulting in a little close on that wall. More explosives going off. He must be out of GLs. Ooh! He didn't see, I didn't even see the explosive at his feet, and someone triggered it and took him out. Great explosive trap plays we're seeing for Blue 4. Rest in peace indeed. It's rare we see a good explosive trap like that, but I absolutely love seeing them. Because the best ones can literally kill entire squads, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But look at this folded leg position. Trying to hit Waldo up there. Might see Roofy. Roofy's in the open. Can he get the kill? Roofy turns around and starts engaging, and immediately makes him go prone. Grenade's being thrown up. What are you doing? Did you see his legs? What happened to his legs? We call that the leaning leg taunt there. Good God. Dingo's come out and is trying to aggressively flank around. He does have a GL to work with, but you see the speed of Pepega starting to push up, and you also see all the Overwatch positions starting to fold in as well. It's not looking good. Blue 4's strongest defensive line is where the weakest Green 4 push is. So that's showing me that Green 4 is probably going to be able to get in on this position and start making this a really CQC fight. It's really leaning on Green 4 to win right now, but it can really swing either way at this point. I do love what I saw, though, with Green 4 holding. I was worried Green 4 was going to start putting attack waves in on their own and get defeated on detail, but they specifically waited for Charlie, Green 4, to push up with Pepega, and now they're basically circling around on all sides. I'm really impressed with the speed of how quickly the Overwatch groups were able to actually get into this AO and help close the noose here in a really well-timed combined assault here. Unfortunately, the attack wave to the south has been really, really hammered, with most of Charlie dying up here, actually, on their advance in, which goes to show why this attack sector is so strong, but Sector 2 being taken, because the number advantage in Sector 2 is higher than the blue 4 element there. So you see that box starting to be filled. Vagrant comes in, blows Cervic away. Another explosive trap went off and actually got multiple people here. So Blue 4 doing a great job with those explosive traps. Tim was the triggerman for there. He got those 2 kills. And that's halting some of the Green 4 infantry from advancing. More explosives going off. These are explosives being thrown in, I think, by Mike or someone else to try to kill the infantry in here. Tim getting a double tap on that guy just to make sure he's dead. That's his 3rd kill. Sector 2 about to be taken, another 5 to 10 seconds tops. Green 4 now trying to breach. Smoke grenades going in. And Sector 2's officially been captured. Numbers-wise, definitely leaning to Green 4 right now, but it could turn around. Because at this AO, it's all about that CQC. We might even see some green on green or even blue on blue incidents because there's so many forces around in so many different areas. Satchel thrown. Cameron folds in to play defense. He's got a scoped 249. Thankfully, these bunkers don't explode. John tries to get a satchel in the bunker. He misses the throw and is forced to pull away. Cameron survives 2 satchels. Got some keyholing right here on some Green 4. Slim trying to push in now. Door closed on that grenade. Blue 4 holding that position. They're firing through the door. Camrad pushes up, takes quite a few hits here, but I think he just scored a double kill right there with that 249. Slim comes around. Oh, nasty headshot by Camrad, and he clears out the southern attack. It's plays like that, though, that shift the tide here, because now Green 4, it looks like they don't have that number advantage anymore. Great use of explosive traps by Blue 4 to even the scales here. They got at least 4 or 5 kills with those explosives, and that's definitely helped shift the tide and stop the starting number advantage that Green 4 had. You got to remember, they started with a 10% number advantage. Oh, grenade thrown by Huel. But Omri is forced to pull away because that grenade was on the stairs. Omri takes some shots from the rear, though. Another grenade goes down. Omri falls and gets killed by the grenade after he falls down the stairs. Oh! Huel is a lucky, lucky motherfucker with that one and gets the double taps in. Oh, if I was Omri, I'd be pissed off about that. You see some members of Scandi Recon breaching, but it's in a tough area. Ash. Okay, that was a smoke grenade. I was about to say, you better not have just fragged yourself. You silly, silly goose. Yanni coming up. He's going to catch aim at the stars. And gets him with the headshot. Camera trying to pull around. He's got that 249. Catches Yanni on the reload. Yanni panically trying to spin, but Camera just bitch slaps him back. Get that meta shit out of here. You can do that with someone with a 5.56 rifle and 30 rounds and maybe force a reload out of them, but a 249 with 200 round boxes? Nah, bro, you're dead at that point. Looking at the northwestern flank here, you got Green 4 still trickling in. Legend winning a 1v1 fight right there. Gordon trying to follow up here. Will Swola come out and get the kill on Gordon? I don't see it. Legend folds into the building. But the numbers here... And Green 4 doesn't have anyone out on Sector 1. I think they were thinking they were going to be able to sweep this and then send someone down to take Sector 1, but Blue 4 might be able to get this bounce back here. Satchel Charge goes out, blows that Humvee into the sky, and blows up this tower. Now you got some dead Blue 4 that were up here that was UL camping it. And he dies because that tower collapses. Dobbs a little close for comfort there by that wreckage. And let's do a head count here. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 blue 4 in here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 green 4 in here. One guy out here on Overwatch. Iced Coffee is desperately trying to administer CPR to a dead body. That's a little... Wait a minute. That's not even... That's a blue 4. That's an enemy body. Why were you making out and doing CPR with... You know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That's a little weird even for me. I'm going to just write that timestamp down so I can report him to the authorities for that one. Anyway.
Let's give him a warm.
Like, floor below. He hears the footsteps, though. Why did Mike hesitate after that first shot? Don't kink shank the man. He's a very dedicated medic. Very dedicated something, that's for sure. You know, I'm going to be honest. I think Green 4 did everything right in this attack, but Blue 4 just perfectly countered with those explosive traps. I was a little worried in the beginning because they weren't raining true, but the other triggermen with different explosive traps were able to turn it around. Now, I wouldn't say Green 4 is out yet. This is all going to rely on the PvP now. Dobbs fires AT4 into that building, but it doesn't do much, unfortunately. Green 4 cleaning up some Blue 4 that were trying to flank him on the rear here. More AT going in. That was on Vagrant's building, but he already pulled back. He's going to fall in with Grav. They're going to swim around here. And Vagrant's picked up a 240 Gulf. Trying to throw those grenades up a little higher. Dobbs now folding in. Wow, I thought he got the headshot on Pro Hunter, but Pro Hunter just bitch slapped the bullet back into Dobbs' face. Number count, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 8. I didn't count Charlotte. Oh, no. Hit Grab while he's climbing up. Hit a body. Oh. I don't think Grab's going to be able to get out of there. Vagrant tries to poke his head out, immediately takes marksman fire. Charlotte clears the mag just to suppress, keeping Vagrant in that building to buy her time to reload here. Grav crawls out. He's still kind of... Okay, gets out. Charlotte folding in. Sector 3 being captured, but now no longer being captured. Ya boy gets knocked out by Hybrid. Legend runs up as Hybrid tries to fend off with his handgun. Legend drops his handgun, but Block comes around and gets the kill. Great use of teamwork right there. Leon comes up, gets a back of the head headshot on Lock there. I'm going to rule that as a suicide. Hillary Clinton style. Grav now. Charlotte folding in, finds Vagrant. I don't know who got the kill on Vagrant there, but Charlotte's on 4 kills with that marksman rifle. Good job. And I think Blue 4 in a good position here. Green 4 only have 4 guys up. Blue 4 have got 6. It's still very close. I'm not going to say the words Inner to anyone because I don't want to curse them. Because every time I say someone's going to channel their Inner they usually don't. For those of you that are new, Adrihato is the record holder for the most kills in an FNF round. He literally solo won a 3-way fight for 3 sectors after his entire team got wiped, or his entire side got wiped, and then he just did this amazing operation of just solo clearing the 2 other squads and winning the game. It was amazing. Probably the best PvP I've seen ever done by an individual, and it's a record that still hasn't been beaten to this day. 15-minute warning called. Just say channel your inner Reno. I will not invoke the gay squirrel here. Reno is a player on our Thursdays for Pog. The one that if we make him laugh, he starts sounding like a slide whistle. If someone wants to dig up the VOD from Audrey Hotto's Reign, feel free to post it, because it's pretty much a rush. But I'm sure if you look up Liru's VODs, then type Audrey Hotto PvP, you'll find it. I will say, though, Naps came close a few weeks ago. He was up to, like, what, 15 kills? And then he got caught in the open and immediately annihilated by a machine gun, but he was doing really well one of those rounds earlier. So now we're at that phase of PvP where everyone's being incredibly cautious because one false move is going to get you killed. Grav is now on this Overwatch position. Ash just did Ash things. Leopold pulls out, catches Jobby. Jobby doesn't realize he's under fire, and he gets killed. Puma puts some retaliatory fire on your boy. Grav also on a decent Overwatch position. And you got Leon over here. I think that's a play on Resident Evil. Your boy gets flanked and taken out by Grav. Charlotte might realize where that fire is coming from. Really good positions here of overwatching each other. If Charlotte comes out that door, she'll take fire from 2 positions potentially. What's Leon armed with? A GL. A few well-placed GLs in this building will solve the issue. It is 3 versus 5. Wait, no, we still have iced coffee out here. What have you been doing out here this entire time? He's been out here for like 15 minutes. His best. You're right. You're right. His best. I think he's new because I haven't seen him in FNF before and he doesn't know what he's doing. So, as Freak says, it's his best. Ash, that is a cheeky little spot. And you just headshotted that man with a Scar L. Or is that a Scar H? That's a Scar H. It's got the box mag. Puma's coming up. He's not going to be able to find an angle on Ash, though. Well, yeah, all of Ice Coffee's squad is dead, so he doesn't know what's going on. Oh, Puma tried, but Ash was quicker. 2v5, Dice Coffee trickling in. And now we wait with bated breath. Iced Coffee coming in. You know what? He's going to come in, and he is going to just annihilate everybody. All right? That's my prediction here. And I'm always wrong when it comes to these, but he's going to channel his inner Audrey Hotto and kill everyone. Even Grav in a freak-friendly fire incident. Definitely. I think Charlotte knows. Hi, honey. It is 5:20. Okay. Yep. Charlotte gonna come up here? Charlotte's gonna breach Grav's position. Oh, here comes Iced Coffee. But he knows Ash is a jerk hiding in this bush. So Iced Coffee decides to climb this wounded tower. Then he turns around, knowing it's gonna give him a great sightline to see Ash. Charlotte decides not to push up that hill, probably because he fell off. You okay? Oh. Iced Coffee under fire. Ash suppressed him. But now Iced Coffee is going to come up on this little spot, and he's going to snipe Ash in the face. Yeah, I think Charlotte fell. Charlotte now has a 240 golf, which is very unfortunate for Grav. Ash has thrown a smoke grenade? That's a regular grenade. Yeah, 240 to the face, 7.62 by 51 NATO. At that close of a range. I love how the magazine caught the AK up here, though. That's kind of funny, but yeah. You dead. Like I said, guys, it's all up to Iced Coffee. He throws a smoke, knowing that it'll distract Blue 4. Ash, please, he's just a boy. Iced Coffee heroically repositions after taking fire from Pro Hunter and Cameron. Iced Coffee's now coming around. And is bandaging. Oh yeah. It's all coming together, guys. Yeah. Friday night fights. Woo! That was a good nade. Anyway. It's okay, all right? No Iced Coffees were hurt in the making of this video. But that was a pretty good grenade by Blue 4. Here's the deal, guys. Both of the rounds have gone close to the end. It's 5:24 right now. Dinner for me is going to be ready in like 20 minutes. And then even then, if this round goes to the full time, it's going to probably be around 6:15 or 6:20. And that only gives me a handful of time to set up the server for the PvP, not the PvP, the Zeus op in an hour. So I don't think I have the time today, unfortunately, to go cover the third round. So what we're going to do is I'm going to raid Yanni, who is one of the players on the ground. I'm going to put you to him. Anyone on the multi is down there as well. Feel free to disseminate, but I think I have to go right now. I'm sorry to say, because it's flank steak cooking up there, all right? And one does not say no to flank steak. So anyway, guys, we'll be back in an hour for some Zeus operations. I'm going to be throwing the book at my poor player base. But after that, we'll be doing some Mission to Everdarktide. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Go operate operationally. Enjoy the rest of your day or night. Cheers. And hopefully I'll see you in an hour. Have a good one. Enjoy your Friday. I'm keeping the stream up. Let me get Yanni Finn's Thingamajig. There we go. Oh, I just realized Yanni Finn's name has been wrong. Well, whoops. This is how I'll make up for it. There we go.